I'm so sorry about that, Kyle.
It's A-okay.
And I'm gonna put you in the speaker view.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready.
Good morning, everyone. This little tube might look ordinary, but it's part of a story that stretches back 1,000 years and more, and even involves physics, culture, and environmental change. Today, I'll be talking about one of the simplest yet most influential tools we use every day, the straw. In the next few minutes, I'll explain how a straw works, where it came from, and how it's evolved from a simple tool into a symbol of sustainability. When you actually sip through a straw, you're performing a little science trick. You use your mouth to reduce the air pressure inside the straw. The higher air pressure outside the straw pushes the liquid up and into your mouth. So you're not technically sucking up the liquid, but the atmosphere is actually pushing it in. The first known straws go back over 5,000 years when the ancient Sumerians first used hollow reeds or even gold tubes to drink beer. Fast forwarding to 1888 when Marvin Stone, an inventor, created the first paper straw by wrapping paper around a pencil and gluing it. By the mid 1900s, plastic straws took over because they were cheap, flexible, and waterproof. In recent years, plastic straws have become a symbol of environmental waste, obviously, especially because they often end up in the ocean. That's led to a rise in reusable straws made from metal, bamboo, silicone, or even paper. The straw has transformed from a disposable convenience into a reminder of how small choices affect the planet. So the next time you sip your drink, remember, this simple straw represents science, history, and social change all in one. From ancient beer drinkers to modern eco-conscious consumers, it's proof that even the smallest inventions can make an impact. Thank you.
Alrighty. I'm glad you showed it again. Okay, so I didn't remind you all that this speech is 2 to 3 minutes. So you did meet the time limit, Kyle. 2 to 3 minutes for this speech. Okay. Um, you don't have to have all of the information in the introduction that you would have in a regular 5 minute speech, okay? Because you can't really get all that in. So you did a good job with that, Kyle. I'm going to give you, I'm going to get your grades to you, but I thought that you could show your object more. You put it up twice, and then after you finish speaking, then you put it up again. So be mindful of that. I thought you also could have increased your eye contact some with that. The introduction was very good. And I just want to remind everybody that the main points need to be clearly stated. A lot of times students say something in their connective and then they think, okay, that's enough. And then they go right into the supporting material. But even if you say it in your connective, you need to repeat it as a full sentence as your main point. Okay. So the audience is aware. And again, that same pattern of wording is extremely helpful in guiding your audience to what are the main points. All speeches can't fit it nice and tightly, but when it can, you should try as much as you can because it lets okay, he's talking about another new main point. All right, good job, Kyle. Who'd like to go next?
I can go next.
Okay, Joanne.
I'm good to go? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joannie Porter, and I'll be informing you today about my perfume bottle. Perfume is more than just a scent. It's something that it can express personality, boost confidence, and even create lasting memories. I believe perfume can be smelled before you even walk into a room. That's what makes it so powerful. I've always loved perfume and actually collected. Each bottle is unique, from the design to the color and the story behind the fragrance. Perfume bottles are often beautifully made to reflect the style or feeling of the scent inside. The perfume I brought today is my favorite, Prada Paradox. The design of the bottle is sleek, modern, and is shaped like an abstract triangle that represents breaking the rules while still staying true to yourself, which is what scent is all about. The design of the bottle is sleek and modern. Oh, and shaped like an abstract bottle. I have my cards. Um, when it comes to the smell, Prada Paradox has a warm, feminine, and slightly floral scent. It also has hints of jasmine and vanilla in it, and also a touch of amber, and it gives it like a soft and elegant finish. The kind of fragrance that makes you feel confident, fresh, and ready to take on the day. Perfume may feel like a small accessory to some people, but it's something that can truly enhance your appearance and leave an impression. My perfume bottle, especially the Prada Paradox, represents style and confidence. Thank you for listening, and I hope this time, next time I see you, you have on your favorite fragrance that has a statement without you even speaking. Have a great day.
Yes. Okay. All right, Joannie. Um, I was going to get on you for closing with thank you, Kyle. I think you did it too, but then you came back. So, all right, that's good. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so that was fine saying like
That's
thank
fine.
you and
You can say the
okay.
thank you like just before you say those closing remarks, or you can say it earlier on in the introduction. It's up to you. Um, but leave that audience with the closing remarks. The
Got
last
you.
thing, and the closing remarks that you had were great when you said, um, say it again about your,
About next time I see you, I hope that you have on your fragrance that leaves an impression without you even having to speak.
yes, yes, yes. Um, Now that was a informative closing because you didn't tell them.
Okay.
It's basically saying, I hope your fragrance smells good too.
Okay.
But Kyle actually told us, but so remember, and he's telling people what they should do. That's a call to action. That's a persuasive ending. You have to be mindful in your informative speeches not to make that persuasive closing. Okay? You did it correctly, Joannie. Kyle, you went a little bit over when you actually told us to do something. So just be mindful of that. I see students doing that, and I'm going to talk about that a little later again, too. So just be mindful. Don't tell people to do something or believe something or think something that's related to your topic.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you record like how long my speech was? Like, do you time us or no?
Yeah.
Because I didn't record this yet to put in, so I don't know if the timing is long enough or not. And it's
Uh,
but so much I can say about a perfume
it
bottle.
was long enough. It's only two to
Okay.
3 minutes. So,
Okay.
as I told you, you don't have to give that full whole introduction that you need to have in that informative speech that's coming up, but and the
Okay.
persuasive speech that's coming up. But for these practice speeches, you just really need your attention getter and reveal of your topic,
Okay.
which you did that. Um, Well, I mean, your introduction could have used a little bit more because you said, "Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be talking about this perfume problem." So you just said, "Good morning," and started revealing the topic. So just be mindful, get a little attention getter in there um, when you're giving these impromptu speeches. But good job, good job, good job. Um, I'm not sure that you restated your central idea first in the conclusion, Joanny. And just be mindful to always do that. You gave us the meaning message, you gave us a nice closing. Just be mindful to restate that central idea again first.
Okay.
And you did do it in the meaning of the message, but you got to do that first. Um, Main points were clear. Okay, thank you very much. Who's next?
Can go next.
All right. Who's that telling me they're going next?
I could go next.
Okay. How you doing, Shannon?
Okay, how are you?
Fine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon, and today I will be showing an object that holds deep culture and traditional significance. This is a wooden mortar, and this is a pastel, and it is known as a pilon, Haitian Creole. It may look like a simple tool, but in my culture, is a symbol of tradition and flavor and family. This is used in many Haitian households and is prepared traditional season. Instead of a blender, we use garlic, herbs, and we pound it. And we blend into peppers and garlic. It's a special seasoning as an ippies. We put it in rice, meat, anything we cook in a Haitian household to give that significant Haitian flavor. The pilon is found in every most kitchen passed down from grandmothers to daughters. It represents tradition and heritage through their modern blenders today to connect our roots. In today's use, I watch my grandmother and my mother make this all the time with our foods, and later on it will be mine. We use it to just connect. It has these hard hand carved designs that people make. This wooden modern and pestle may look simple, but it carries the weight, identifies connection, and is a tool of memory and a symbol as a Haitian pride. Thank you for letting me share a piece of my culture with you.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. And I was wondering, you said it's going to come to me. Are you the only person in your family, or is it like a order that is passed down to?
It's an order. So my great 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 grandmother had this. And my mom. So once I get married and I get out the house, I will have it. And then when I have a kid, hopefully I can give it to her.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's cool. All right. So you had great eye contact. You obviously did it. You were a little less than the time by a minute. So what be mindful of the time.
Okay.
Um the visual effectiveness of the visual, it was there. We definitely know what you are showing us. So that was great too. In the introduction, it was a lot like Joanni's. Hi, my name is this, and I'm going to be talking about to you about this. So try to stick in that attention getter before you reveal your topic. Um, your central idea was very clear what you were talking about. I'm not sure if you gave us the summary statement. I feel like you gave us the summary statement and then you said thank you. So
Okay.
remember, give us the meaning of the message too. Why did you tell us all of that? Right?
I feel like I was talking a little fast.
Yeah, you were going. You were into it. And then you said thank you very much. That was it. So you got to build up a good closing remark too. All
Okay.
right. And often, I'm sure you all saw in my comments that I said, try using some of the attention getting devices, like giving a quote at the end, asking a rhetorical question, um, something that leaves the audience with the essence of your speech. And they can take that with them and they'll be like, yeah, I know exactly what she was talking about.
Okay.
Oftentimes the quotes are a real hit.
Okay.
And then, the rhetorical questions. So something like, wouldn't you like to have this wonderful pestle for your own? That could be like a
Mm-hmm.
rhetorical question that you could
Mm-hmm.
ask about it. Something that leaves the audience with
Guessing.
lasting, memorable um, mindset about what you're talking about.
Okay.
All righty. Okay. Otherwise, pretty good. And the other thing I wanted to tell Joanie, never let them see you sweat, Joanie. Remember, you said, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. I was using my cards, right? Don't tell us. Because oftentimes the audience won't even know you messed up. You know what you wanted to say, right? But we don't know. So don't tell us if you mess up. Just keep on going like you never did it. All right. Who's next?
I can go.
All righty. Israel, we're ready.
Okay, I can start.
Yes.
Okay. So, almost everyone today has at some point owned or seen these little white earbuds, Apple's AirPods. They've become such a normal part of daily life that we barely think about how much technology actually fits inside them. Today, I'm going to tell you what AirPods actually do, how they developed, and why they become one of the most popular pieces of technology in the world. Uh, AirPods are wireless Bluetooth earbuds made by Apple. They let you listen to music, make phone calls, or talk to Siri, all without any cords. The case they come in also doubles as a charger, using a small built-in battery. Each AirPod has tiny sensors and microphones that automatically detect when they're in your ears and can cancel out any background noise for clearer sound. The newer models, like the AirPods Pro, even use active noise cancellation, which basically means that they produce sound waves that block out outside noise. They're small but packed with smart technology, things like Apple's H1 or H2 chips, which manage Bluetooth connection and allow for instant pairing with your iPhone, iPad, or Mac. Now to talk about a little history. Apple released the first AirPods in 2016, right after removing the headphone jack from the iPhone 7, which at the time was a controversial change. Many people doubted wireless earbuds would be convenient or reliable, but they quickly became a hit because of how simple and seamless they were to use. Over time, Apple released AirPods 2, AirPods Pro, and AirPods Max, each with upgrades like better sound quality, water resistance, and spatial audio, which makes sound feel like it's coming from all around you. Today, AirPods have changed how people listen to music, talk on the phone, and even how they interact with technology, since many users now rely on things like voice commands and hands-free features. Why do AirPods matter? They represent how technology keeps getting smaller, smarter, and more personal. Instead of big headphones and tangled wires, AirPods give us freedom and mobility. They're used for workouts, calls, online classes, and even noise cancellation during flights or study sessions. They've also influenced fashion and culture. Those white AirPods have become instantly recognizable, symbolizing both convenience and status. So today we looked at what AirPods are, how they work, their history, and why they've become such a big part of modern life. These tiny devices may look simple, but they are the result of years of innovation combining design, engineering, and everyday convenience into something that fits right in your pocket. When you're wearing AirPods, you're not just listening to music, you're using one of the most advanced pieces of audio technology ever made.
Okay, good. Good job. You did it within the time limit. That's great. Um, you had a good introduction. You gave us that attention getter. You showed your uh object a lot. That was good as well. Great closing. You did your summary statement. You told us what it means. Um, the one thing that I would critique would be your last main point. You expressed it as a question. So be mindful. Don't ask questions. Make it a declarative statement. I think you said. So what does this mean for us? What do air? Why does air? Why does this matter, or something like that at the for your last one? So just make sure you state it as a declarative sentence instead of a question. But other than that, it's really good, really good. Okay, who's next?
I could go.
All right, Nanny.
Have you ever listened to a song and wish you were living in it? Well, if that describes you, then I have just the thing that you're looking for. The Momentum 4 wireless headphones, a comfortable and convenient product that lets you fully immerse yourself within your music. I want to share some of the headphones features that make it, in my opinion, the best choice for music lovers. The first reason is sound quality. The headphones are supported by a 42 millimeter dynamic drivers, which basically just means it has a very rich sound across all genres of music, and it results in a very balanced and crisp audio profile. They have great comfort and convenience with padding all around for long listening hours that won't, cause wear and tear. They have touchpad controls on the side as well that make it very convenient. And they have noise cancellation if you're worried about outside audio sources. And my last reason is they have a very long battery life that just allow you to listen for very long hours, up to 60 hours, which means that you could go without charging them for 2 days straight. And so, to sum up all of my reasons, I think that these headphones are a great choice for the audio quality, the comfort, and the long listening hours.
Okay. All right. So that really was your summary statement there, right? That last thing you said. So that goes first, right? In the closing. Then you give us the meaning of the message. Then you leave us with some lasting and memorable closing remarks. So just remember that part too. Give us the full conclusion in the order that you're supposed to do it. You did it within the time frame. Just made it to 2 minutes. Um, the intro was excellent uh, on it. Now, I would say, and you showed us quite often, you had good eye contact. I would say, though, that in the beginning, when you revealed your central idea, you said you really just revealed the topic almost as opposed to the whole central idea. So you said, so I'm going to be telling you about the features that the earphones have. Tell us what those features are. That's it. Like you okay, because to just say you're going to tell us about the features, that's more of a specific purpose. But then telling us exactly what they are, what you're going to talk about in a full sentence, now that's your central idea. Okay. Um, that was mainly the comments that I have for you. You did a really good job on that. Now, I did want to let everybody know, thank you, Manny. I did want to let everybody know that you may see comments on the working outline where I say to you, well, you don't have to put all of the features on there when in your specific purpose, right? In the working outline, you might not really know it so much. So it's okay for you to just say, to inform my audience of 3 features of the headphones. That would be fine. You don't have to be as inclusive of your main points in the specific purpose. But you can. So, and in a learning setting, it's nice to see it. But if you see me write that in the working outlines, because a lot of times in the working outline, we might not actually really know exactly what we want to say. We have an idea, but that definitely could change. But in the final submission of the preparation outline, then that's when you can include them. And a lot of the comments, be mindful, a lot of the comments that I'm making for you, they're based on a basic framework of a speech. So, of course, you can use the latitude to expand on your language, how you're saying things. But if you don't get this basic part down, then it's harder to produce a final product that is inclusive of all the things that you need to do. Okay, so just understand that. So if you see me say in the impressive person speech, I kept telling people, well, you need to say something about this is an impressive person speech, right? In the main points. You might not do it as much in your actual speech, but in some way you do need to make the audience understand. Now, here's the thing that a lot of students are doing, what Manny did today. When you state your your main points, you use pronouns almost instead of actually saying the actual thing, what it is, right? So you'll say something like, so next, I'm going to show you how it can do whatever, 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 right? Don't say it. Say the earphones can do this, this, this. Don't cut the sentence short. Make sure it's a full declarative sentence and try to use the same pattern of wording when you can. You can't always do it. So, but when you can, you should. Now, getting back to Israel, when you give a speech where you tell the people, okay, so I'm going to tell you what it is, how it works, and why it's important. Okay. When you make that your main points, right? When you make that really belongs in your working outline. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you this. But then now your main points are something specific. So when you're giving that preview about what you're getting ready to talk about, be specific in it. Don't just say to us, oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you what this is, and then I'm going to tell you how it works. Well, that's kind of like a specific purpose. How does it work? Right? So you have to be mindful when you're trying to put together your main points. Be as specific as you possibly can. Okay, so for instance, Israel said, so I'm going to tell you what it is. So her main point was earphones are whatever with earpods or whatever, however, whatever's the name. I'm sorry. or, and then she told us what it was. But then when she was telling us how they work, she didn't really say, oh, well, what's the specifics about it? She really wanted to tell us that they work from a battery. Right, Israel? Isn't that basically what you were trying to tell us about?
Yeah.
That's how they work.
Yeah.
So when you're developing your central idea, you might say, um, earpods work using a battery to make it more specific of what you're talking about, as opposed to just announcing it. If if you use these types of main points, you're gonna have to say that in the main point. You got it? Make sure that's clear. Do you understand what I'm saying about that, Israel? Because it was your speech.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. Good job. Good job. What's next?
I can go. I can go.
Okay, we're ready, Amber.
Imagine stepping into a world with the luxury and the beauty of nature meets. Well, this place exists, and this book shows it perfectly. That's why I'm here today to inform my audience about the unique designs, elements, and experience offered by this amazing book. Showing the beautiful camps and houses in the safari style. These camps illustrate the luxurious styles in the safari destinations, focusing on their natural environment. In conclusion, the safari styles not only show the stunning aesthetics of the African camps, but also emphasized the deep connection with the nature, highlighting the beauty and importance of the conservation, making them essential for those looking for adventure and luxurious, creating meaningful travel experience that leave impact on both the traveler and the land. Thank you.
Okay, so it was short by a minute, Amber. 2 minutes is the minimum.
Okay.
All right. You let us know you were coming to a close. Um, your eye contact. Look at that camera. You were looking a whole lot at your notes. So
Yeah.
look up time to time. Look up. Just keep that mindfulness. And if you can't remember, put it in your speaking outline. Look at the camera. Put that, and then that will remind you. Look at these. Oh, let me look at the camera. Okay, because
Okay.
you can forget to look at the camera. So that's important. Your eye contact. Your object was visual, was effective. You did a good job there. Um, great introduction. You told us what your main points were. And again, the main points: be mindful. A complete sentence. Tell us what it is that you're talking about. Good use of the supporting material as well. Okay. Good job. Good job. Just keep
Thank you.
those things in mind.
Okay.
Who's next?
I can, Miss.
Okay,
You
Gigi.
listen me? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Today, I want to talk about a small and beautiful product for me. call it on the eye roll for dark circles under the eyes. Many people have seen, but not everyone know how to use the right way. This product is small and cheap and has a metal ball. You look at this and the top, and it's easy for carrying too. When you roll under your eyes, this product in both eyes close, it's help dark circle and puffiness. You can use in the morning or before you go to the sleep. What I like about this product is you don't need money because you can buy in the Dollar Tree for only $1 now 75 cents. It makes it easy for everyone to try. Most people start using after 18 years when the skin start to look tired. Teenager can also use too, but it's good to ask a doctor or dermatology first. The steps is the same. The first, clean your face. After, check the bottle. It's held for serum and roller, and you put again, and you need to stay the other, and you left the dry. Go to refrigerator is the better, and put inside and keep in the cool place. Oh, how to know when it's almost empty? It's easy. Look at this, at the liquid inside, and you feel it. And you can smell too on the texture change is might experience. This eye roller became popular first in Korea and Japan because people like that you can use without touching the serum with your fingers. That keeps it clean and more effective. In summary, the eye roller is cheap, easy to use, and good for the daily hair care. Tomat, thank you.
Okay, all right. Now, you made the time limit. 3 minutes. You did a great job with the visual, keeping it up there, letting us see it. And you had great eye contact as well. The closing. You didn't tell us the meaning of the message and give us a closing remark. So you skipped that part. Your main points were clear. We knew exactly what you were talking about. And you gave a good example of what I was saying earlier about Israel's speech. You told us specifically these ideas as opposed to say, oh, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you how it works. I'm going to tell you, right? You gave the specifics of it. Okay. This is a cheap product. That, and then you gave us two other things too. I forgot what they were right now. Tell me again. It's cheap. It's
easy for carrying.
Say again.
It's a small, easy for carrying.
Yes. Yes. And it was clear what you were talking about. So that's good. I told you about the closing. Just make sure you give us that meaning of message and the closing remarks. Great supporting material. You all had very good supporting material. Everybody has that down. And I'm happy about that. And your main points were clearly stated. Okay. So good job, Gigi.
Thank you, Miss.
Much. Okay, who's next?
I'll go next.
Before you go, Gigi, what is it called again? Eye roller?
Yes, eye roller.
Okay, and you can buy that like in
Dollar Tree.
Sephora. Where you
Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree.
Oh, Dollar Tree.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. Okay, Colin, sorry about that. We can go when you're ready.
How many of you have ever lost this thing before? Be honest, maybe it slipped between the couch cushions or found it days later in the fridge. We don't realize how important it is until it's gone. This is the TV remote. It might seem simple, but it's one of the most useful inventions in our homes. Today, I want to tell you a little bit how it's used, how it works, and how it's changed over time. Let's start with the basics. What does a remote actually do? Well, it gives us control over our TV without leaving the couch. With a click of the button, you can change the channels, turn the volume up or down, and can even control other devices like soundboards or streaming boxes. How does it actually work? Most TV remotes use something called infrared light. You can see it with your eyes, but when you press a button, your remote sends a beam of light carrying a special code to your TV. The TV picks up that signal and does exactly what it told you to do. Remotes haven't always been this advanced. The very first remote control was invented back in the 1950s, and it was actually connected to the TV with a wire. A few years later, wireless remotes came along using sound waves to change channels. From there, technology kept improving, leading to the compact, high-tech remotes we use today. Now, if you have a smart TV, your remote might not even need to see the TV to be used. Modern remotes Bluetooth and radio signal, so you control your TV from another room, or just tell it to say play Netflix, and it listens. So next time you pick up your remote, think about it for a second. It's more than just a plastic with buttons and a tiny piece of technology that gives us convenience, comfort, and control right from our couch. Whether we lose it under the couch or to binge watch our favorite shows, one thing's for sure, life without the remote just wouldn't be the same. It might be small, but it has a big impact on how we experience entertainment and comfort at our home.
Okay, excellent closing remarks. You met the time frame. Tell me, what is your central idea again?
It was like the 3 points. It was how it's used, how it works, and how it's changed over time.
Okay. So you had a central idea similar to Israel's, where it's not very clear. And when you do that, it's not very specific, put it that way. It's clear, it's not specific. So when you do that, it often forces you into using questions, right? For your main points, which we know they can't be described as questions, expressed as questions. You have to express them as complete, declarative sentences. So, in at least two of them, the main points, you asked it in a question. So, what is this? So, how does this work? So, how? Don't do that. Be more specific. Now, in the meaning of the message, I wasn't sure if it was meaning or your summary statement, but you said the remote control is, tell me those three things you told me again.
It was how it works, how it's changed over time, and how it's used.
At the end of
at the end. Next time. I said how it's a big impact. Yeah, that's really it.
Before you said that impact part, you told us 3 things about the remote control. It was right up like around the summary statement or in your meaning of message at the end.
Like think about it for a second. It's just a piece of plastic with buttons, a tiny piece of technology that gives us convenience, comfort, and control. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really more specific.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? So tell us what it is in the central idea.
Okay.
The remote control is and I think you were trying to tell us that it's a modern day object, right? Something like that. And that really was kind of like your main point of it, as opposed to just being real broad and say, what is this? See the difference?
No, yeah.
So try to make certain that you tell us specifically what you're going to talk about, as opposed to now, see, here we are. If you take your speech and take Israel's speech and put it in the working outline. You know that Roman numeral 1?
Yep.
What is the remote? That's where that goes there. See, because it's broad. Then number 2, what was the second thing you said you were going to tell us about the remote?
How it's used, how it works.
How it's used and how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would say it's used for whatever you're going to talk about, right? So it's and that Roman numeral 2 is going to be explain how the remote works.
Okay.
And then main point number 1 is going to be all about how it works, right? The remote works through like a Bluetooth. You were saying something about that or whatever. That's what you would say. And then if it's more than one thing, each one would be a subpoint, okay, under how it's working. So just be mindful that because you have to think like your audience doesn't know much of what you're talking about. So you need to guide them through it. And the way that you guide them through it is clearly, specifically, concisely, right? Accurately. And you're going to use some repetition in there so that they'll be able to remember these things. And because after you do it the second time, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that sounds just like the first time. And then the third time, they're totally understanding about it. So just remember, these main points must be extremely concise and clear when you say them. And they need to be specific and not broad in terms of, it could be a lot of different things of how it works.
Okay.
All right. Excellent summary. Conclusion. Very good conclusion. Great supporting materials. And again, the visual, you had it up there. It was good. I would say you need to increase on your eye contact though, as well as your vocal variety. You could improve on that one too. So overall, it was very good. Thank you, Colin. Okay, who's next?
I can go.
Okay, Ruby. Ninth one. We're ready.
Have you ever held something small that instantly brought back a memory? This is a piece of confetti from the concert that I went to, my Billie Eilish concert, and it fell during the last song of her Madison Square Garden concert. It's her logo, and it represents how concerts are more than just musical performances. I'll explain what makes her concert stand out through the use of visuals, live performance, and her connection with fans. Billie's concerts are known for her strong visual design. The lighting and color choices reflect the emotion of each song. For example, there's green lighting and fog during her louder songs to match the energy of each track, while there's blue lights and calmer visuals to reflect the slower songs. The stage design also contributes to the experience. There's large screens, fogs, and projections that tie in with her music videos. These elements work together to make each song feel like a complete visual story. Now that we looked at the visuals, let's move on to her live performance. At my show, Billie performed with her brother Phineas, who played guitar and keyboard. Her live vocals are a major part of the experience. They're more soft and controlled on slower songs and powerful during emotional moments. She tends to do special songs to make each show feel different, and at my show, she played a song that's not on her original set list. Billie's performance is not the only part that makes her concert special. Her connections with fans plays an equally important role. She often takes time to speak directly to her audience, sharing personal messages which create a sense of authenticity and trust. The crowd also participates in the show, singing along, holding up their phone lights, and even organizing fan projects. These interactions make the concert feel more like a shared experience than a typical performance. Billie Eilish's concert stood out because of its visual design, live performance, and fan connection. The combination of these elements turn her shows into an immersive emotional experience rather than just a musical event. Even this small piece of confetti serves as a reminder of how much detail and connection go into every part of a performance.
Okay. All right. You met the time requirement. I would say increase that eye contact, look at us more often, and read less. Okay. And slow down some, because you were flying through that. You had a good closing remark. The central idea was clear and concise. So were your main points. But I'm glad you gave this speech. You submitted this as your working outline, didn't you? Okay. But this is not your really. I think you maybe thought I meant to submit the working outline for this speech, but I meant for it to be for your informative speech. But that being said, the way you gave me the central idea, it really was informative. But it kind of like we're leaning towards well, you changed it. Did you change it from what you originally wrote?
I don't know.
I think you changed it a little bit, and it's good because you turned it totally into informative. But some students were giving me persuasive speeches thinking that they were giving me informative speeches, but I did not take off for it because partly it is my fault. Partly I'm going to say, because I did tell you all which speech to use as your example, which was the Emma Dredger story about getting tattooed, right? But in the actual module, it's the wrong thing in there, right? It's something telling you about the importance of water, something like that, right? The importance of drinking water and drinking the right amount of water. Okay. That should not be in there. So that's why I said I'm going to take some partial responsibility, and I did not take off for that. However, I will take off on your informative speech if you give me a persuasive speech on question of fact or question of value, which a lot of people did. Now, one key indicator. Well, first you have to understand what is the purpose of each type of speech. You haven't gotten to persuasive yet, so you don't really know, right, about persuasion. However, there you were supposed to read the look at the video, my lecture before you came, so you would know what is the purpose of an informative speech. Okay, the purpose of an informative speech is to convey knowledge and understanding. Okay, different from a persuasive speech where you're trying to change or convince the person to think differently, to believe differently, or to do something. Okay, you have passive persuasion, and then you have just overt, right out persuasion. The passive persuasion, you're not really telling people to do anything. You're just trying to change their mindset about it. Okay, but they have two very different purposes. They have different rules, and the closing, particularly, are very different. So usually in persuasive speeches, there's some type of call to action, whether it's passive or overt. Okay, but there's some type of call to action. You're trying to get people to think differently or do something. And you can have lots of opinion. Now, persuasive speeches have lots of fact in them, right? However, you can also have, in a persuasive speech, you can also have opinion. Now, when you start saying things like, oh, the benefits of this is X, Y, and Z, or you start saying things like, oh, this is the most important thing there is. Okay. You're leaning towards persuasive speeches on question of fact or question of value to try to tell us what's question of value is telling us, oh, this is right or this is wrong. Because these things are not necessarily, they can be, but not necessarily true for everybody. Now, when you tell us the 4 steps of a process, that's the 4 steps of the process. It's not opinion. You have to do these 4 things in order to get whatever the result is that you're saying you're going to get. 4 steps to making pottery. Okay, and then you proceed with telling us what are those 4 steps. But when you're persuading someone to drink water, right, or to do something or believe something, that this is very important, you have to do this. Some people may say, well, I hardly ever drink water, I'm just fine. Okay? They still can live if they don't drink the adequate amounts of water, right? You may be dehydrated, but you're not going to die. So you have to understand and think in your mind, am I trying to change people's beliefs, or am I just giving the facts straight just as they are? And that's the tell for you to understand that, oh, I'm giving an informative speech versus a persuasive speech. So you have to ask, and then you can almost at the end tell that's why it was a persuasive speech, because at the end you start reminding people, so the next time you do this, make sure you do that, right? Or you'll tell the people, so that's why it's important for you to get out here, go out here and vote, right? If you told somebody the the steps to the process to vote. And then at the end, now you're telling them, oh yeah, well, make sure you go out and vote. No, you can't do that, because that is a call to action, telling somebody to think differently or do something. In informative speeches, we just give the facts. And when we talked, when I was talking to Joanie, I was telling her that, she was almost leaning towards it, but she pulled it back. So just be mindful of that. There are different speeches, and a clue because persuasive speeches on question of fact and question of value, they look a whole lot like informative speeches, a whole lot like it. So you don't want to get them confused, because I will take off on that big speech that we're doing. I will take off for that. Okay? Because you don't really know the difference between an informative speech and a persuasive speech. They're very different types of speeches. The facts can't be changed in the informative speech, and it fits every time. Whereas in persuasive speeches, it may not fit everybody. It may not be the same every single time. So if you see that it looks a whole lot like informative speech, but I mean, somebody could get on the other side of the argument about it. So you think it's important, but somebody else might not think it's important. You give these speeches about exercise, right? Oh, you need to exercise because it does this, it does that, it does this, it does. You're telling us all the positives about it. Well, there's some negatives about it too, right? If you have the wrong form, you can hurt yourself. If you exercise too much and don't get the proper rest, which is also a part of exercising, then it's not good. It's not healthy. As well, there's a lot of people out here that never exercise a day in their life. And they going about their normal day. A lot of misconceptions around exercise, where people think, oh yeah, if you exercise, you're going to prevent this, you're going to prevent that. Well, it doesn't necessarily prevent things. However, the way it works is on the recovery side. So exercising daily, being committed to it, it's not necessarily going to stop you from getting breast cancer, right? However, on the recovery side, someone who doesn't exercise and is not otherwise in a healthy state, their recovery is not going to be as great as someone who didn't exercise. Okay. And I know this firsthand, right, about exercise. So just be mindful of, am I going over the line in informative and trying to really persuade people to do something? In your mind, it may not be that you tell them to do something, okay, because that is just a straight up persuasive speech on policy, where you actually just tell them to do something different. But you may be trying to subtly change their mind when you're telling them that all these wonderful things about exercise. Okay, everybody have that idea, because it's going to be important for you to be able to distinguish between the two. And like I said, I apologize for sending that message with that water speech, that was an informative speech. I used to use that speech and then tell students, okay, this is not, it's things in that speech that shouldn't be there, right? So that's why that's not a good speech to show you. And I did tell you to use the Emma Dredger speech about tattoos. So if you need to go back and look at a sample of a speech on an informative speech, go to the Emma Dredger. I've since taken it out so nobody else gets confused with that. But it was there in the beginning, so it may have confused you. But I'm hoping that I made that point clear now to you about the difference between informative speeches and persuasive speeches. Okay, that being said, I think you all did a great job today. Thank you very much for your participation. And I just wanted to I finally did finish all of those um, impressive person speeches. And I just had a few comments just overall that I want you to be mindful of when you do your informative speech. So some students are still putting more than one idea in your specific purposes, your central ideas, your main points, and your summary statements. You don't only have one idea. Now that one idea can result in three different things that you want to talk about that idea, but the idea is just one. So you can't say, I'm going to tell you how to this works, and then I'm going to tell you that's not a good example. You can't say right up in the beginning when you're going to talk about your idea. Some people say, oh, I'm going to tell you this about that and that about this. And then you say the three main points. You can't do that. You just had to have one idea, which is, my impressive person is this person. And then the reasons why. Okay. That don't put two ideas in your specific purpose, central idea, summary statements, and main points. One idea is all you can talk about. Okay. A lot of people are just putting one central idea. You need to put two so that you're able to really bring out those main points. Your conversational central idea, the spoken one, it may not specifically call out those main points. That's why when you hear me say your central idea needs to incorporate the main points, doesn't mean you have to specifically say those main points. You can say your central idea in a way that does include those main points without actually saying it. Okay. So you need both the written and the spoken central ideas. Closing remarks. I just keep making these comments about closing remarks. A lot of you just restate the specific purpose. And that's why this person is my impressive person, because there is this and this. Well, no, that's not a good closing. You already told us that in the summary statement, basically, right? And in the central idea, and in the reveal, and in the main points. Tell us something else that's lasting and memorable, related to that topic, related to that introduction, okay, but not necessarily the central idea itself. Okay. I see a lot of that. Students and I call it lazy. You're being lazy. Okay. You have to develop something that you feel as though, and you saw it today with the people that I said, oh, that was an excellent closing. I think Colin had one of those really good closing that I can recall right off the back of my head. It was so, that's why I can remember it, right? So you have to work at it. And just, this is something that you could just Google. Now, remember, in your informative speeches, we're not doing any Wikipedia. We're not just go Google something and now here we go. You have to go to the library and use the school's databases. So that's why it's very important to contact that librarian if you don't know how to use the library's databases. Okay, it's simple. You can do it right from home with your phone. As I told you before, when I went to school, there's no such thing as personal computers. So we would have to go to the library and physically go through the card catalog, right? Or go to the microfiche and think to see what's in the library. You don't have to do that anymore. It's all computerized now. We would go to the library early in the afternoon and be there till 11 and 12 o'clock at night, researching. So I have no mercy for students who don't research today, because it's not that difficult anymore. You don't even, like I said, you don't even have to know what is the difference between APA style and MPA style. You don't have to even know that. You just tell the computer, I want APA, and it'll do it for you. So be mindful and make certain that you get credible information as your supporting materials. Credible sources, okay? Wikipedia is not credible because people could go in there and change it. So I don't want to see any Wikipedias in your bibliography, right? None of this Lexa told me. All right. You have to go to the database and you need to get research that has been properly reviewed by peers in the industry. And they tested it, and that's why we know it's true. Okay. So that's another reason why I don't like social media, but okay. I'm not going to go there too much. But there's no regulation. People can get on there and say whatever they want to say. Right? They can say whatever they want to say. So you don't want to do that.
So
You had a question, Jill? I mean,
yes, I have a question. So just to, I don't know if I heard it right or not, because I keep glitching over here. So the informative speech, so we have the working outline, um, informative speech, working outline, the example they have here, the preparation outline template. So that's all on this perfume bottle for the informative speech.
no, the formative speech is something way different.
Okay.
What you're doing today, that's just something I told you to do. It's an impromptu, and I just
Okay.
to test out how do we describe things, because that's
Gotcha.
part of informative speeches. Remember, there's speeches about objects, speeches about processes, speeches about events, and speeches about concepts, theories, beliefs.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the only type of informative speeches. If you're doing anything else besides telling us about a process, about an object, about an event, or about some type of concept, then you are persuading probably, or you could be speaking on
Okay.
as a special occasion too, but that's the difference.
So like the okay. I get that part. And then also I'm just saying, so like it was saying 10:30, the informative speech working outline. So that's the outline that we had to come prepared for today, right?
So today you did, well, it said make a speaking outline, but that was just like for you to get used to using note cards.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with this big assignment that's worth the most amount of points, that
Okay.
informative speech.
Okay.
So I did tell you all like a couple of weeks ago, I said, start thinking about the topics that you want to talk about in your informative speeches. It's not these speeches that we do. You don't have to do a whole lot of preparation. Like, I'm not going to ask you for an outline for any of these impromptu speeches that we give. You don't have to submit an outline of any type for those. And when in this particular assignment, it did say prepare a speaking outline, but there's nowhere for you to submit it, right? It's nothing to submit. It's just for you to practice. All these speeches that we do in class, they're practice speeches. Getting you used to it. So we can look at where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, let you know about it so you can change it. So that by the time we give those two 20% speeches, you know what you're doing. All the rest of the speeches that we give, they're really kind of practice speeches. The first speech you gave, that was to get a baseline of where you are with speaking. So, I mean, I can't fail anybody on that speech. You don't know anything, right? So it's the attempt, it's the try, it's a point where I could say, okay, here's where you're weak, here's where you're strong, here's how we could fix it, okay, for these upcoming speeches. So that's what these impromptu speeches and class, that's what they are for, practice. So you're going to mess up here. And then I will comment on it. Your classmates can comment on some of it sometimes. Like for our next speech, we're going to actually do something called Science Night. And it's an informative speech. And you're going to have to actually, I'm going to give you the research. Okay, I'm going to give you the research. And then you probably should look at it ahead of time. Then I'm going to put you in groups. And you're going to present this speech as a group. You'll have the articles. There's 3 articles. You read these articles. And then, but see, you won't know which speech you're going to give until class comes and I put you in your groups. But it's 3 different articles that I have. So read the 3 articles, see the information, be familiar with it. So when you come to class next week, when you get in your groups, you won't have to sit there and try to read. Well, you would only have to read 1 article, but you don't have to read. You've already read it. It's in the module. And then you'll be able to compose the speech together as a group and come back and present it to us.
Okay.
It's all about science. So here's the opportunity now to practice with some real data as your supporting material. Got it? Okay. Other things, just quickly, expressing the main points as a full sentence. A lot of times we just go, like I was telling Manny, he was using pronouns and things like that. You want to definitely say what it is. Think, I got to make these people remember. They may not have a lot of information. Okay. Don't overestimate. That's one of the rules. Look at that. Look at my lecture. One of the rules is, the first one, don't overestimate what the audience already knows. Okay. So you might be thinking, oh yeah, well, most people know this part. I don't have to tell them this. No, you have to start from the beginning and go all the way through to the end when you're explaining the process. And a lot of times, I know students always want to put this as a main point. What is it? What is it? Or you can tell that information in the introduction too. You could give some of that information in the introduction. You know, that's not a great main point. What is it? Okay. And then connectives. A lot of people are forgetting about the connectives. You need a connective you definitely need a connective from the introduction to the body and from the body to the conclusion. Now, you can also have transitions between main points or even between subpoints if it's particularly complicated or complex idea that you're giving, then you might need a transition. Or if you have a lot of things, like you have 5 ideas or something, you might want to give those internal summaries. Okay, we've talked about X, we talked about Y, we talked about Z. Now let's take a look at A, whatever. Okay, and again, in the informative speech, remember, convey knowledge and understanding, just the facts, no opinions and no calls to action at all. And some of your keys, indicators that is persuasive. You're talking about the importance of something, the benefits of something, it's usually persuasive. Because in your mind, what is your intent? Think about your intent. Yeah, I'm trying to get these people to start exercising. Okay. Just think about that. And then one other thing I had written down, I wanted to come back to it. Collins' distractions. What was it? What was Collins' distraction he had when he was delivering his speech? I'm going to tell you, I have the same distraction, Colin. It's this. Going around and around in your chair, back and forth, swinging in your chair. That's a distraction. Playing with your hair too much. These are distractions. Too much of this, too much of this, too much in the camera, that becomes a distraction too. So just be mindful. Practice in front of the camera if you can, or even in a mirror. And you'll see it yourself. You'll look at yourself, okay, that's a little bit too much. But those are distractions, Colin. I make that mistake too a lot too. So don't feel bad. You just have to be mindful of it. Because when you start doing things like that, that takes the listener's attention away from the message and on to the distraction. Okay. That's it. It's 12 o'clock already. Time flies in this class. For me, at least. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Don't forget, prepare for next week.
Professor?
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you,
Hey,
Professor.
Jaleesa,
Thank you, Professor.
please, Jaleesa. I forgot. I didn't get your speech, but just stay, okay?
Okay. See you, Miss.
Okay, Gigi, take care.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you so much. Bye.
Professor, is there any chance I could talk to you for a little bit?
Yes. I'll put you in a breakout room, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Dewani, did you want to talk to me too?
Um, feel like I need to just to have a little bit more clarity
Okay. All right. So I'll
because
put you two in a breakout room and then, well, since you're here, do you want to listen to Jaleesa's speech?
Yeah, I don't
sure,
mind.
Audience?
sure.
Okay. All right, Jalisa. Jalisa, she had to watch her little brother and
I
sister.
was able to
That's
put
why
him to sleep.
that's why she wasn't on camera today. They're so cute. They'd
No,
be a big distraction to us, right?
they were running around screaming, so I was really happy I didn't have to have my camera on.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, let's go.
okay. Imagine having over 1,000 books. Sorry. Imagine carrying over 1,000 books everywhere you go and being able to read in the dark. The item I'm talking about, oh, you guys see it, is my Kindle. I don't know if you can really see it. As a book lover, those two features are very convenient. The Kindle was first made by Amazon on November 19th, 2007. This device was designed to allow users to browse, buy, download, and read ebooks wirelessly through Amazon's Kindle store. When you first get your Kindle, it asks you to sign in with your Amazon account. It once you sign into your Amazon account, it like I'm sorry, I didn't know how to like write this in my speech, but like it goes preference. Like if for example you were buying gifts for like a little girl, like a princess costume, when you get your Kindle like show books about princesses and stuff, it goes to whatever you're used to or whatever your preferences are. Um Another thing is as you read your books, as time goes on, it calculates how long it takes you to read books. So when you start a new one, it will tell you this like an hour and 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm like out of it right now. Um like an hour and 30 minutes they feel like will take you the longest. You're able to highlight. Another thing it does is like how your phone, this is my chosen font size, but depending on your site, you're able to make the font bigger based on whatever you is your preference. And on the bottom, what I was talking about, let me see if it shows. Let me see. On the bottom, it lets you know what chapter you're on and you're able to switch through. Um, I'm so sorry. I'm so out of it. Um, yeah, that's all I got right now. I don't even think I made the 2 minutes.
Okay. So you made the 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, number one, I tell you, you did what I said Colin did with this distraction. That cheer's going. It's just a going.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, another distraction. Don't tell us that you're making a mistake. Don't tell us you're
okay.
out of it. Don't tell us you're not prepared. Don't tell us any of that.
Okay.
Keep all that to yourself for
Yeah,
your
I'm like,
own critique.
I was
Because
like literally just running around 2 seconds ago. So like my speech is like, I'm trying to,
that's cool, and we understand that. But you don't want to tell the audience that.
Right.
Because they may not know.
Right.
They may think you're doing some of this slow down purposely. They may think that you're thinking about the next point if you get stuck like that. So don't tell them because you could decrease your credibility by doing that. And you don't want to do that. You want to get high credibility so people will pay attention to you.
Okay.
So don't do a whole bunch of apologizing or, all that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe in the beginning, maybe if your throat's
right
or you got a cold, you could in the very beginning before you even start the speech. Don't be in the middle of the speech telling us all your problems that you're having with your speech. Okay. The introduction was brief. It kind of really was your two main points, I think. And then you said, okay, so that's what my Kindle does. But you have to be specific. You have to say the Kindle does those two things you said it does. Those two
Right.
main points you gave us.
Mhm.
Specifically say it. Okay?
Mhm.
Don't rely on somebody to remember what those couple of things were, because like I said before, in speeches, it's not like your Kindle. You can't
Right.
go back and reread it,
Mhm.
right? You can't go back and rehear it. The speaker's going to continuously go to the next point.
Right.
So just be mindful of that as well. Your eye contact, I think you could have increased that some. The visual effects was great. You did that very well. Of course, you know the conclusion wasn't that great, right? So just remember, in the conclusion, make sure you have all three parts. You restate the central idea as your summary statement first. You give us the meaning of the message. Why'd you tell us all this? What you want us to learn?
Right.
What's the takeaway here?
Right.
And then close with some memorable and lasting remarks at the end.
I did like have like a question at the end, but I did like hear you talk about like mixing up the persuasive with the informative. So I didn't know if I should add it because like my closing question was like, would you prefer to buy one book for $15 or $11.99 for hundreds of them? Because I was trying to talk a little bit about like a subscription it gives you for multiple
Okay.
books, but I didn't
Well,
know if
yeah.
that was too.
Thinking about it, I mean, right off the cuff, it might not seem like persuasive, but it kind of is, because you're trying to convince the people to buy a Kindle,
Right.
to make a decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? Make a decision. You needed to get this.
Right.
You need to get this. When
Mm-hmm.
anytime that's happening, then you know, okay, I got to change that for my
Right.
informative, because it's a little too persuasive.
Right.
But almost any topic can be either informative or persuasive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the manner in which you present it,
Right.
which is, I think I was telling Ruby earlier,
Mm-hmm.
or Amber, it was Amber, and she changed it a little bit around that central idea was informative.
Yeah.
Okay, but good job, good job.
You do.
All right, we'll let you go back now and do your sisterly duties.
Okay. See you
Take
next
care.
week.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
All right. So now I'm going to put